Hey there everybody, this is Killin' Cat, but you can call me Patrick. Trust me, it's okay. Everyone does. Pikmin 251, otherwise known as Pikmin 2's first big modding project. Yes, it is huge. Yes, it is worth it. PikHacker knows exactly how to work this engine. So while it's not a huge extension of the first game, it was a huge step forward. At the time, this was the first absolutely original Pikmin 2 mod in years. Actually, I think it was the first original Pikmin 2 content in years in general. And every following mod has made use of the bones of this one in the makeup of theirs. Every single one. Even Pikmin 269, as much as I praised it for its originality. Two things right off the bat, because I know people are gonna say it. Speed up disk transfer rate was on. It just didn't work. I don't know why, but it took minutes on minutes on minutes to load in sometimes. The end-of-day screens took between 2 and 4 minutes each. While exasperating, I'll go ahead and say this mod is fun in spite of that issue, and I had plenty of time to go and get water or go to the bathroom in between moments. Issue number 2, for some reason I already had a save file and it worked, but I've never played this before. That means there's another Pikmin 2 mod on my PC that uses this one as a base, and I don't know which one. This mod came out in 2019, just 4 years ago. I did hear about it when it was launched, but I was in no position to play it. I already said in my last review that Pikmin 2 New Year was the first one I wanted to actually play, but that's because I thought 251 was just a restored cut content and changed some of the textures mod, and that really didn't appeal to me much. Well, I was stupid and I was wrong, what can I say? Thanks to Nintendo Kluber for calling me out on that. I was just very much dead wrong. I already said it, but this was the first in-depth mod for Pikmin 2, and it is what led to the possibility of there being so many mods. I finally understand all the inspiration that makes all the mods work with each other. It took nearly half a decade for Pikmin 269 to come out and also change the scene again. Props to PikHacker and their team for the design of this and the design of this mod, and how this mod format is probably going to exist for another decade or so before people finally get tired of it. It is really good stuff. Aside from that, the pacing in this didn't feel much different from regular Pikmin 2, right up until the second half of it. The fourth area is massive and tall too, and you can see all the way from the top of a big tree. It really impressed me. That cave, that one cave, the Pit of Misery. Yeah, I can feel that. The misery. That was actually a lot of stress. The only floor of it I really recall as awful, pensively as it was my own fault, was floor 8. Jesus, man, 2 bull bears and what felt like a dozen dwarf bull bears. It took a lot of time, more than anything else. More on the caves later, I suppose. I just wanted to talk about the story in this segment, but went full ADHD. This is a direct continuation of Pikmin 2 in the dark timeline where Louis takes Olimar's job, getting praised as the hero of the story. Well, not too dark, it's mostly a humorous journey. You start off with 20,000 Pokos of debt, getting yellow Pikmin instead of reds, and going to the impact site area of the Wistful Wilds from Pikmin 2. That is a very solid start. I like where it's going. I haven't seen something like this before. Well, not entirely like this. I wouldn't have expected to get the most useless type of Pikmin first, or to be entrenched in so much debt. The American way. Now the Piclopedia and Treasure Hoard are a bit different here and there from what I read of them, but I left those mostly for you guys to play and find. The entries there can be read off just like the base game, expanding on information of the creatures or goods held within their specific catalogs. Most mods don't make too big of an impact on me to read these catalogs, but this one actually did. I don't know what compelled me, but I simply wanted to know more. It might be the familiarity mixed in with the silly amount of darkness. I don't really think it's much more dark than the regular Pikmin 2, but I guess it just feels like it because I've been playing this game for so long, and seeing it in a different way makes that come to the forefront more. Anyways, all the written elements of the story actually end up coming together really well. Even the character titles having been swapped plays into how the dialogue of the world pans out. In the second half, you get to play as the ship. Yes, the Hocotate ship, the talking one. Oh my god, if they ever make a sequel to this, please pair up the SS Dolphin and Hocotate ship as playable characters. Or Olimar and the Dolphin. Or Shacho and the Hocotate ship. Just the ship being playable absolutely shocked me. On screen right now is the first thing I wrote for this mod review, and the lack of proper grammatical sense tells you just how hype that was for me. It blew me right away, and it's played for comic relief, handled well enough that didn't make me roll my eyes. I was excited to play the ship, that's all I have to say. It's a complete Captain overhaul. They have new sound effects, lines, actions, all that. It's good. It's really good. The ship also expresses that it feels a little bit weird about being able to follow you into caves like this. It's just good. It's just really good stuff. I don't know what to tell you guys. And yeah, that is my segue into the caves because I couldn't think of a better one. Most caves are typically forgiving. The in-game isn't too hard with planning either. It's pretty well balanced here, I guess. The only issue is that the new introduction of orange Pikmin, who are barely used at all in the game, are, well, I guess here? Sure, they're neat, but I had maybe 4 instances of getting them, and only 2 of those I actually needed to use them as more than fodder for rainbow candy pop buds, which really just made me not want to get them in the first place. I get why, but it's much like how the Bulbmen of the original title were underutilized, leaving much to be desired without the part of desiring them, weirdly enough. Initially, I was disappointed that the orange Pikmin couldn't follow me to the surface, but they can't because they really don't have a purpose in anything but hyper-specific moments. See, they're resistant to explosions, and, well, that's not super useful, really, at the end of the day. You know, actually, I talked about Bulbmen before, but they are in this mod, and they have way more appearances, and they're way stronger, which just makes me question the lack of utilization of the orange Pikmin even more. It'd be better to call the Bulbmen in this game Bulbearmen, as they take on the coloration and attack power probably of what are dwarf Bulbears. Maybe the mod calls them that, but I don't remember off the top of my head. I can't wait to see these guys in Pikmin 4 though. Normally I'd recommend bunches of purples for the final area's caves or some particularly harder caves, but that's a hard pass. The purple Pikmin were nerfed in their damage output and stun duration, making red Pikmin once more the go-to. Weirdly, to counter the lack of purple Pikmin, they buffed the red Pikmin too. That's not saying purple Pikmin are removed, I just maybe had barely over 20 throughout the whole game. Now buffing the red Pikmin, that was a mistake. Nothing was actually fixed. The reds do so much damage now, it doesn't matter if you bring purples. There's also no treasure requiring 100 purples, so your sanity has been spared on that part, thankfully, and you'll only need about 20 the whole game, which is about what I had. I think I had 22 total, but I lost some along the way, and I felt nothing over it. I do think some of the other Pikmin other than Reds and Bulbears also got buffs or debuffs too, but I can't tell right off the top of my head. Hey, let me know in the comments below if the other Pikmin were buffed or debuffed. It was handled alright, and it's a relatively minor gripe there, but it is nonetheless a gripe. Hey, this mod is still getting updates to this day. 2.3.1 actually rolled out not long before I started doing the long play, so there you go. We might get some better balancing implements later on. There are some unique caves to explore in this, but the mod mostly uses a lot of assets from the base game mixed around. Of course, everything in this mod is unique at the time it came out, and the base game elements are moved around to apply a different feel. It's different in Pikmin modding now, and now doesn't really count. I have to review this for the time it came out. As such, I don't actually have a particularly favorite cave, but I enjoyed the one in the third area on top of the small stump. You know, that one, I believe it has a lot of playing card themed designs, or whichever one I went in first in that area or last, or whatever it was with all the playing cards. That was fun. I liked the maze in that. Whatever the name of that cave is, it'll pop up on screen here. I had a lot of fun with that one, and I think it was mostly because I went in the order of what I perceived as hardest to easiest for Area 3. Speaking of, the final boss is so good. A subversion of expectations is exactly what this cave needed to keep it on its feet without changing much. Way better than the Pikmin 269 final cave, and way better than the final cave of most mods. I approve wholeheartedly. That being said, the caves you explore are for the most part redone or expanded base game caves. That's it. The Water Wraith Cave is just a continuation of the base game's Water Wraith Cave. It makes sense and all that, as this is a continuation of Pikmin 2 rather than something entirely new. Most mods do try to do that, though I must say I appreciate when they try to differentiate and make an entirely new story. It's a bit of oversaturation of the continuations within the nation. Wait, no, I'm not doing that. Areas 1, 2, and 3 are remixes of those existing areas from the base game. Area 4 is totally new. That's the massive one I talked about before. I love it. All of the area edits from before are great and all that, but the 4th area being this massive just takes the cake. While it has become pretty clear to me where most mods get their inspiration, those mods lose a bit of their magic in knowing they take so much from this one. It doesn't make them bad by any means, it just is less impressive, and it makes this mod look so much more intensely impressive that so many other mods are still using this one as a base. Something new to this mod, or at least new to me at the time of writing this, is that there's no winter overworld area. Yeah, absolutely none, not even on the world map. The caves have a few here and there, I guess by technicality, but they aren't overworlds. Those are dungeons with a Pikmin skin, and no mod has made that feel any different. Especially so this one. Yes, that is my overworld segue. I'm feeling lazy today. I have harped on about the overworlds off and on through this, but they're beautiful. The world map has been redesigned to fit the new themes, but they don't prepare you for what's in each level. I thought it was going to be mostly a reskin, but it's kind of true only for the first area. Area 1 is the Wistful Wild, and it's mostly the same. Area 2 is the Awakening Wood, but it has been flooded, and you can actually explore the out of bounds areas now. This area left me a little hesitant at first, but once I got the blues, I realized how well thought out the area's design was. On to Area 3, which is my favorite of the remodeled areas. Each spot you land in is a spot where you'd get a Pikmin in the base game, or in Pikmin 1 for the Wistful Wild. However, Area 4 breaks this trend by being entirely new and just huge. Look, every area leading up to Area 4 was for your comfort for the most part, I think. Area 4 scrapes the metaphorical sky, and you can see a long ways below. Just a fantastically designed stage, it's so good. As for the music, it's alright. This mod doesn't add anything special to the music composition. Their selection of tracks is, much like most Pikmin mods, top-notch for what they want. I'm so tone deaf. Unless the song is really bad or it makes me feel emotions I wouldn't normally feel, I don't have much to say on it. I like all the boss music. The one track from Luigi's Mansion is a good choice. Yeah, that's it. Now treasures I have good things to say about. So there's 50 brand new treasures to collect. Probably more than that in total if you count changing models. But there's 50 new added to the counter, not 50 replaced treasures. So you now have 251 treasures, which is much like the mod's namesake. This doesn't feel bloated or anything, flowing very naturally. With the increased number of treasures you can get, the increased debt you have to pay back, which is 20,000 Pokos if I didn't say so before, feels natural as well. This is something you can easily mess up in design, but here it's not messed up. The Pikhacker team clearly playtested this to make sure the flow felt good, or at least they got very lucky. I also want to say, as far as I recall, this is the only mod I've played that has an increased amount of treasures to collect, or at least the first one that's noticeable, which is a positive instead of a psychological torment thing. There was a point where I missed a treasure in one of the final caves like a fool, but hey, that one's on me. I've already said that I think this type of mod style will stand the test of time for years to come, and I stand by that. I just wish the orange Pikmin managed to see more use, because they had little to no point. Yeah, they were kinda cool, I guess, especially for the time they came out, but I guess I wanted more from them. I felt like how the yellows in the first game had very little to no use themselves. They were also introduced in this artificial tutorial segment. It's the most artificial tutorial segment I've seen of any Pikmin 2 mod. Yeah, it works, but it felt so unnatural, and as far as I remember, you never encounter that obstacle again in the game's story mode. I don't know about the challenge mode, I don't play those much. Maybe you encounter the obstacles once more in the story or something? It's entirely not memorable past the first entrance, though. Aside from that one blemish there, I think I can sign on another recommendation mod. This time, a full recommendation. I imagine in a few more years, this mod style will still be on the scene and feel like a classic, though a little bit outdated because of all the changes that'll be happening. Though it is just a net positive experience that everyone deserves to break into if you can. I'm gonna put in the joke here that I said I would. It ripped off too much from Pikmin 2 Power Cut, so I have to give it a 5 out of 7. Make sure to check out Pickhacker's stuff in the description below, including the launch video for Pikmin 251, where you can download the current version of the game. Also, thank you guys for watching, and if you like my stuff, you know what to do. Like, comment, and subscribe. Support me on Patreon and Ko-fi in the description below. Until next time, guys, have a good one, and remember, I'm doing your mom.